And welcome to the Planning Committee, Falkirk Council Planning Committee. The meeting is held in Grangemouth Community Education Unit, Babbitts Road, Grangemouth, on Wednesday the 18th of June at 10 a.m. I'm Deputy Convener Ralph Kelly. In accordance with Section 43 of the Local Government Act, we will be holding this meeting in such a manner as to allow remote attendance by elected members. The meeting will be live streamed on www.falkirk.gov.uk/live. First, I'd like to introduce the committee. On my right in the room,
Provost Robert Bissett, member of the Planning Committee and councillor for Falkirk North Ward.
Bailey James Kerr.
Councillor Jim Flynn.
Councillor Gordon Forrest. Councillor Gary Bowes, Caskin Trice.
and online,
Councillor Laura Murtagh, Caskin Trice.
Councillor Fiona Colley, Denny Bagnog.
thank you everyone. And on my left are the officers. Could you introduce yourselves, please?
Thank you, Convener Ian Henderson, the Council's Legal Manager.
Thank you, Convener Richard Broadley, Senior Planning Manager. Michael McGuinness, Head of Growth Planning, Sport and Culture.
Gemma MacArthur, Committee Officer.
Jim Miller, Committee Services Team Leader.
Thank you all. Should we move on to the business of the day? First of any apologies?
Thank you, Convener. We have apologies submitted by Councillor Sinclair.
Yep, other apologies. Okay, item 2, declaration of interests. Members should declare any financial and non-financial interests they have in any item of business at the meeting, identifying the relevant agenda item and the nature of the interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No, thanks. Item 3 is the minute of the previous meeting on 20th of May 25. Are there any challenges to the minutes?
Agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. We'll move on to item 4, which is the modification of planning obligation under Section 75 of the Town and Country Planning Act. Officer. Vivian. Mr. Vivian.
Thank you, Convener. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
This application relates to a large housing site in Denny Lane Head, which was granted planning in principle in 2017. The site now also has detailed planning permissions, and works on the site have commenced. The application seeks to modify the Section 75 planning obligation for the site by removing the restriction on the number of residential units that may be occupied prior to the M80 A803 slip road junctions being upgraded. Under the terms of the Section 75, no more than 75 units may be occupied until the upgrade works have been completed. The reason for the proposed modification is because the applicant considers that the provision is no longer necessary, as the anticipated completion date for the upgrade works is well in advance of the expected date for occupation of the 75th unit. The upgrade works commenced in January 2025, following the applicant entering into a tripartite agreement with the council and the owners of the Banknock North site, committing the applicant to deliver the works. The works are due for completion in August this year, and works to the roundabout at the East Slip Road are substantially complete, and works are ongoing to the West Slip new signalised junction. The application requires consideration by the committee because the original application was determined by the committee. The Council's Transport Planning Unit have not raised any concerns with the application, as the applicant is proposing to remove the condition relating to delivery of the M80 A803 works, which are underway and being delivered via a tripartite agreement. The application has been considered against the tests for a planning obligation under Scottish Government Circular 3/2012, and it is accepted that the restriction on housing is no longer necessary as the upgrade works are being delivered via a tripartite agreement and due for completion in August this year, well in advance of house completions at the site. In conclusion, it is considered that the application can be modified as requested. Thank you, Convener.
Thank you, Officer. Has anyone any comment to make on the removal of the section, I think it's section 75, number 14. The road is up and running now. Well, it's up pretty well finished. We finished in August, so I don't see any reason to keep the section 75 in that item going. Provost?
Agreed. Yeah, I'm quite happy to move the recommendations as they are for the reasons you've just stated, Convener. Thank you.
Okay, I'll second that. Sorry, Councillor Murtagh?
That's fine, Convener. I was just going to say
Oh,
the same.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, if we move on to the next item.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I said no challenges, I thought. We move on to item 5, which is on street, Falkirk Council on street parking for disabled persons. Sorry. Oh, Craig, sorry, Craig.
That's no problem, Convener. Morning, morning, Convener and committee. This is another report for a disabled person's parking space. This report concerns an application for a disabled person's parking space on Marmain Street in Bainsford. In terms of your scheme of delegation, the decision requires to be made by committee, as one unresolved objection has been received to the making of the order. In terms of the relevant legislation, the authority requires to consider all objections made and not withdrawn before making the order. An application was received by a qualifying person and a suitable location was identified for the space. This is shown on page 20 of your report. One objection was received and responded to. This is as detailed on page 22. The objection has not been removed, hence this report being placed before you. Happy to take any questions, Convener.
Thank you, Craig. Anyone, any questions? No? Okay, as far as I can see, the objection, we can overrule it because it's there's nothing to stop it. Sorry, Councillor Bailey.
Thanks. I just asked Craig, with regards to the objection, Craig, and I don't agree with the Ready 4 there, so it shouldn't be there if there's an order being raised and it's needed, fine. With regards to the ones that's already there, are they all in use?
Through you, Convener. Thanks, Bailey Kerr. At this point, my observation from yesterday is that yes, they are in use. And just to clarify that there are 4 on street at the moment, and one of those is actually the one that you're considering today. The way the process works is that you may remember an advisory bay is marked as soon as we can possibly arrange that before the order is made. So there are 4 bays on site. One of those is the one you're considering this morning. I drove by the site yesterday, Bailey Kerr, and all 4 bays were in use. So that's a snapshot from yesterday. What I would say on that, on a sort of wider point, is that the behaviour in relation to disabled bays is generally quite well observed by members of the public. If members of the public see a bay in a space that isn't being used, we are regularly informed about this, and then we start a surveying process to determine if it's being used. If it isn't, we start the process to remove that bay. To the best of my knowledge, we haven't had any requests for that surveying to start on Marmain Street. And as I said, certainly yesterday, the 4 bays were in use.
Thanks, Craig.
Anyone else, any questions? No. So do we agree to allow this bay to go ahead?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you. And that. Okay then, so that's the end of the business. Thanks very much for your time.
Sure.
Yes, must be a record. Okay, thanks
Thank you,
everybody.
Chair.
Thanks. Nice.